What if I told you that you can attract qualified and motivated leads on autopilot? I've tested this system for over 5 years and generated over $1 million with a simple ad and pre-selling my leads with 5 main pieces of content. If you haven't seen my previous video about how to generate qualified leads with a winning ad, check it out here. In this video, I'm going to go over the 5 main pieces of content I use to generate 1 to 2 qualified appointments every day on autopilot. Now, before I jump into what this content is and how to pre-frame it, I want to touch on why it's important to have content in today's day and age with your online leads and why it helps you convert leads that come in from your ads. See, when we were running ads in the past, it was easy to just put up an ad and generate qualified leads. Especially with a hot market, people didn't care if you were a credible realtor. They just wanted to see the property. But now there is a lot of skepticism in the market because there's so much competition and a lot of people are being misled or burned when they work with a real estate agent. So they need to see what you're about, who you've helped, and if you truly mean well for them before they speak with you. See, when we run our ads, we're attracting total strangers. Our ads can never generate leads that will hand over a deposit check to you and say, hey, put in an offer for this property immediately for me. There's always a trust factor that needs to be built, a connection that needs to be had before the lead decides to work with you. We do this by sharing solution-based content that nurtures the prospect before they speak with us. This will take care of the objections like, send me what you have and I'll get back to you. Or, oh, I'm working with this agent and I don't need your help right now. Or, what do you do exactly? That's my favorite one, because if they don't know what you do, there's a very low chance of you taking them to an appointment or converting them, because you need to first educate them about your services and what differentiates you. Now, when I say content, I don't mean professional headshot with a list with me post or email with a bunch of sold listings that you're promoting, or why you're so great and they should work with you. That stuff is overrated. Now, people want to know what's in it for them and how much you truly care about their success. So I'm going to share exact templates that I've used on how to generate qualified appointments and give you examples of how to structure these posts so you know exactly what type of content your leads want to see. All right, so the first topic we're going to talk about is a problem. So think about what the challenges your clients are facing are and put an email or a piece of content around that. So for instance, if you're advertising a list of homes under market value, then think about how they can find this list of homes or how you can make it as easily accessible to them as possible. I would put together that list of homes in a link and send it to these prospects immediately so they look at you as someone that is fast, very results oriented and willing to help them instantly rather than them searching online for hours. Another problem I have had come up frequently is people will ask me, how do they get pre-approved, or what is the first step of buying a house, how much it will cost, or what they can afford. So putting together an email around the affordability factors of buying a house, what the incomes need to be, what the down payments minimum should be, and what the monthly payments would look like. Maybe something useful for a first-time buyer or even an upsizer who hasn't bought a home in a while, right? So think about the problems your clients are facing and put a piece of email or content around that. Next is authority, so credibility, right? Your track record, whether that is how many homes you have sold in the last year or in your career, or what your sales volume has been. If you live in a very high priced neighborhood where the average price points are, let's say, $1 million or 800,000, that's kind of where That's what the price points are in my area. Then it's nice to accumulate the sales volume of all the properties that you've sold, and that way you can make it seem like you've dealt with a very large amount of sales. Or you can talk about the transactions you've done. That way you can include the leases that you've completed as well, or the sales skills you've had in the past before even getting licensed as a realtor, right? These are all great attributes to highlight about yourself and what you can offer in the sales role, because at the end of the day, we are salespeople as realtors. Next topic is social proof, right? This is outlining any clients that you've helped. And when I say outlining clients, I don't just mean, oh, I helped Bob sell their home for 500,000, and I helped Paul sell their home or buy a home for that matter for X amount of dollars. I mean going through in detail, sharing what their past looked like, whether they were confused, overwhelmed, or unsure of where to start. Then how you structured a game plan for them on buying that perfect home in this small neighborhood where they wanted to be around a well-rated school. And then how it resulted in them buying a home for 30,000 below asking price amongst 12 other buyers, and how you were able to not only find that home amongst all these others that didn't fit their criteria, but also negotiated a steal deal for them, right? And that is, so think about putting a story together around the client you've helped, and then package that in content or in an email, right? Next is info or value. So this could be a tip around buying a house, or when they're inspecting their homes, what they should be looking for in an inspection, or when they're doing the closing, then what the lawyer should be able to help them do to avoid any costly mistakes, right? I always do buyer visits right before closing on a property. So maybe talking about why a buyer visit is important could be a good topic to cover. Then a checklist to buy or a checklist to sell their home, or investment properties. This is a hot one in today's market, with properties being up for grabs at very low price points, right? Why they should buy a cash flowing property, how they can buy a flip project. There's so many options out there that you can talk about. Then last but not least is a personal post, right? Too many people talk just about business and there's no personality to your brand. So when you talk about your hobbies, your family interest, maybe even vacation destinations, or just a professional shot with an inspirational quote, because at the end of the day, people love being inspired, right? So if you even talk about just the challenges you faced and how you overcame them, that is something that people will respect you for and connect with you, especially if they're professionals. I'm going to also share a couple of examples around what a buying tip would look like. So here is one example: renting versus owning. And you can make it so that it's a carousel post. So it will cover the renting pros, renting cons, owning pros, and owning cons. And then it will have a call to action to have them reach out to you to really navigate them through this process, right? Then we have a seller tip. That's also another example here that I have, thinking of selling a home in a buyer's market. That's kind of what the market is right now, with the interest rates high and all this nervousness with the political changes. Good time to have a post like this for those sellers out there that are struggling to sell their house. Then we have a Tuesday market tip, right? So I usually just take an article from the most popular news website that I have here. This is from the Toronto Star. And then I will take a snapshot and put it in the background, and then really just talk about the article and why I feel, what my opinion is of the article that's been released, right? And then I also have social proof. So this is kind of like just some reviews that I have on my Google page, and really what it's like to work with me, right? I want to give my viewers, my readers, a sense of what it's like working with me. Now notice I'm showing you examples of some social media posts, but don't be afraid to repurpose this in an email, right? You can always just pretty much just have a before state of your client. So in this case, this client was a first-time buyer who had no idea how to get pre-approved. So we walked them through, we connected them with a mortgage broker. We got them an amazing rate there. Then we connected them. Then we actually started looking at properties and looked at different neighborhoods. Then ultimately, we've not only found an amazing property, but we were bidding against other buyers and won the property at $50,000 below the market price in that area, right? So that is what, and then I would pretty much structure that email and put a picture of this post as like kind of a visual of what the client felt and their feedback about the process. So it almost like validates your story when you put it in an email as well. Then we have real estate tips, so investment tips. I'm huge on buying an investment property. So this is an example of an inspirational quote around some personal posts that I had going on, right? So again, this would be another personal post of me traveling with my wife. Again, just to show people that I'm not just all business. I also mean, I have a personality, I have hobbies, and I want to show people what I'm about. So I attract people that are like-minded as well, right? And then these are some more featured listings. So it's just some more examples of properties in my neighborhood. I usually always pick an amazingly priced, very well positioned property that's attractive, so people feel like I deal with stunning luxury homes and that I can help them if they're looking for a property like this. Last but not least is the FAQ section, right? So this is just think about the most frequently asked questions that come up when you have calls with your leads. I remember people would frequently ask me how they can get their hands on distressed homes or properties that are priced well below market value. And I would always tell them, look for properties that are not marketed well, right? Properties that don't have pictures taken very well, because buyers will shy away from those. Or if they're tenanted properties, because they'll have a hard time show those homes. Or if they are just properties that are exclusive, just not on MLS, and they haven't gotten the exposure that they need to get, right? So these are all good options that you can help them with, and it's a good post to put out as well. So is it wise to wait? Okay, this is another one, right? People would ask me if is it wise to wait for the interest rates to drop, or is it a good idea to buy now, right? So I shared my opinion on this and really just gave people insight on what it's like waiting for properties, for interest rates to drop. Usually the price points go up, right? So it's almost a catch-22 situation, but people don't know that. So it's nice to shed light on that. And then humorous content is just to give people a chuckle. Not always important, but does help, right? You will find quite a few of these circulating around on Instagram and Facebook. So you could even repurpose it to your own content, or essentially just repost it, right? People will admire the fact that you're not just a serious person always just talking about business, but you have a humorous side to you as well. So that sums up essentially the type of content I like to put out in front of my leads before I connect with them, right? So I usually at least post once a day, but in your case, if you don't have that type of bandwidth, you could probably at least send out an email twice a week, right? And have posts go out twice a week as well, right? The beauty is you don't have to have two different posts and two different emails. They could be the same content, just repurposed for the different platforms. Hope this video gave you insight on why content can bridge the gap between a stranger and a loyal client and increase your sales instantly by building trust with your prospects before they speak with you. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content around real estate lead generation and converting leads to sales, subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to access our content framework with examples I've used to close 7 figures from social media ads, comment framework below and I'll send it your way. Until next time, peace.